All right, strap in everybody, because today we are diving deep into one of the biggest rivalries out there.
Oh, yeah.
McDonald's versus Burger King. I'm talking
Classic.
classic, like Coke and Pepsi, Lakers and Celtic,
Ford and Chevy.
Ford and Chevy, exactly. And you've sent us a whole stack of sources for this one.
Yes.
Some really interesting financial reports comparing these two fast food titans.
Absolutely.
And we're going to go through it all, find all the juiciest, most surprising facts
Yeah. Yeah.
for you, our listeners, especially the ones who are really into the business side of things.
It's a fascinating story, actually, when you really get into it.
I bet. I bet. Now, I always love a good origin story, but honestly, the thing that jumped out at me first in these reports was this. The Burger King Whopper actually outsold the Big Mac for years.
It's true. It's absolutely
It's
true.
crazy, right?
Now, the Big Mac, you could say, is probably more of a cultural icon, right? You see it in movies, you see it on TV.
Yeah.
But the Whopper was a silent assassin, They were selling a ridiculous 1.7 billion Whoppers a year by 2002.
Wow.
The Big Mac didn't hit that number until 2017.
That's incredible. I mean, it really makes you think, does name recognition actually equal market dominance all the time? What do you think that says about, consumer behavior?
Well, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it means people just want a simple,
Yeah.
satisfying, a good product that's consistent.
Right.
Or maybe brand loyalty isn't as powerful as we all think it is.
Interesting.
Either way, I think it shows that you don't always have to be the loudest or the flashiest to win.
That's a good point. So how did McDonald's become, McDonald's, if the Whopper was actually outselling their flagship burger for so long?
Well, even with all those Whoppers, McDonald's has always had a higher market capitalization.
Okay, and remind us, what does market cap mean exactly?
It's basically the total value of a company's stock.
Okay.
Gives you an idea of how investors see the company's future. And in 2020, McDonald's was sitting at a massive $168 billion plus.
Billion, wow.
That's the result of their size, their global reach.
Yeah.
36,000 franchises in almost 120 countries, serving something like 70 million meals every day.
Wait, 70 million?
70 million.
That's insane. But these reports also talk about how McDonald's has had some trouble growing since about 2014. Is that just because they're already so huge? How much bigger can they even get?
I think it's what they call the burden of size, right?
Oh, okay.
We get that big, it's tough to be quick, to change, to innovate at the speed you need to keep investors happy.
Yeah.
It's like steering a giant ship. It takes forever to turn.
That makes sense. Speaking of turning things around, let's talk about Burger King's comeback.
Oh, yeah.
I got to be honest, I had no idea they were struggling in the early 2000s.
Really?
I always thought of them as, solid number 2 in the fast food game.
Yeah, they hit a rough patch for sure.
Huh.
Wendy's, Subway, even Starbucks were starting to pass them up. But then, 2010, 3G Capital comes in, acquires them for, get this, $4 billion.
Whoa, okay.
That move completely revived the brand.
Sounds like something straight out of Wall Street.
It is.
So how do they turn things around? New secret sauce or what?
It's a lot more calculated than that, actually.
Okay.
Citi Research actually identified 2 big moves that 3G Capital made.
Lay it on.
First, they trimmed the fat,
Right.
Reduced management and administrative expenses significantly. Made their operations way more efficient, boosted profit margins.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people forget, but it's crucial for any business.
Totally. So basically, streamline the whole operation, made it leaner, meaner.
Exactly.
I like it. What was the second part of the plan?
Well, while McDonald's kept adding more and more to their menu, maybe making things a bit too complicated for people, Burger King did the opposite.
Okay.
They doubled down, rebranded, repackaged their classic stuff, streamlined the whole customer experience.
So simple, easy. I can get behind that. I'm all about simplicity, especially when I'm hungry.
Me too.
And it sounds like that's what customers wanted, that familiarity, that ease.
It worked. And then they really stepped it up. They started going head-to-head with some of McDonald's most iconic products.
Now we're talking burger versus burger.
Exactly. 2013, they launched the Big King. Pretty obvious who they were targeting with that one.
Oh, yeah.
Then the $1 BK BBQ rib, cheaper alternative to the McRib.
Nice.
2018, they drop a double quarter pounder to rival McDonald's.
Wow.
It was a declaration of war, really.
It's like a game of chess, targeting McDonald's strengths head on.
Exactly. And it didn't stop there.
Oh.
They went after McCafe, too.
What? How?
They didn't try to build their own coffee thing. They went and acquired Tim Hortons in 2014.
No way.
And the backer on that deal, Warren Buffett himself.
Warren Buffett. Talk about an endorsement.
Right. So that created Restaurant Brands International.
Right. Yeah.
And it gave Burger King a way bigger reach, especially for coffee and breakfast.
Wow. So much going on behind the scenes in the fast food world. Makes you wonder about the people actually owning these individual restaurants.
Yeah.
How much does it even cost to own a piece of these empires?
Well, to own McDonald's franchise, you're looking at somewhere between $1.3 and $2.3 million just to start.
Million, geez.
Plus a $45,000 franchise fee.
That's serious money. What about Burger King?
A bit of a wider range.
Sure.
Anywhere from about $333,000 to, get this, $3.4 million.
Wow.
With a franchise fee up to $50,000.
That's not just flipping burgers. That's a whole business. What are some of the things you'd have to think about when choosing between the two, besides the money?
Well, obviously, location is huge.
Right. You got to be where the people are.
Exactly. But you also got to consider the brand, whose values, whose image matches your own.
Right.
And then how about the day-to-day operations, how much support they give you?
Yeah.
Those are all things you want to look into.
It makes me think about those sales numbers we talked about.
Yeah.
Maybe part of Burger King's success was that focus on streamlining, on keeping it simple. Maybe that helped their franchise owners, too.
Yeah.
More efficient, more profitable.
That's a great point.
Not just about the food, but the whole system.
Exactly. Sometimes a leaner, more focused approach gets you those unexpected wins.
I think this is a good spot to take a little break.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
We have. So stick with us, because when we come back, we're digging deeper into what it really takes to become part of these fast food dynasties.
I'm ready.
See you in part 2.
All right, back to those franchise decisions.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, right? I mean, it's more than just, I love burgers.
Oh, way more. It is, yeah.
It's a big commitment.
Huge commitment.
What else would someone need to think about?
Well, beyond the location, beyond feeling good about the brand,
Yeah.
there's your own style, how you manage, how much risk you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
even your long-term goals, right?
Makes sense.
Franchising is a big deal. Got to be sure it fits your vision.
Right, right. And I imagine these two companies have pretty different ways of supporting their franchisees,
Oh, absolutely.
like training and stuff.
They each have their whole system for everything, from running the kitchen to marketing.
Wow.
So you'd really want to see which one works best for you with your experience, your skills.
Makes me think about those sales figures again.
Yeah.
Maybe Burger King's success, part of it was that streamlining, keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Maybe that resonated with their owners too,
Right, right.
More efficient, more profitable, not just the food, the whole system.
Exactly. A leaner system can lead to some surprising wins. You're right.
So let's say someone's done their research, picked their team, ready to jump into the world of franchise ownership. What kind of challenges are they looking at?
Oh, it's not all sunshine and roses, that's for sure.
Right, right.
Owning a franchise, especially with a giant like these, comes with its own unique set of hurdles.
Like what?
Well, for one, the competition is fierce. You're not just up against other McDonald's or Burger Kings. It's every fast food place out there.
True.
Taco Bell, Subway, Chick-fil-A, the list goes on.
It's a battle for the stomach and the wallet, I guess.
It is, absolutely. And then you've got those ever-changing consumer preferences to think about.
Oh, right.
People are getting more health conscious,
Yeah.
wanting better ingredients, caring about sustainability.
Makes sense.
So you got to stay on top of that, got to adapt your menu, your whole operation.
That's a lot to juggle. And then you've got employees to manage, labor costs going up, making sure the quality is the same everywhere.
It is a lot on your plate.
Right. And like we talked about, McDonald's especially, they're having that challenge of staying innovative while being so massive.
Yeah, that burden of size we were talking about, it's a real thing.
But it's interesting that they actually looked to Burger King, to their comeback, for some ideas.
Yeah, they did.
What did they learn from that?
Well, remember how 3G Capital trimmed the fat, simplified the image?
Yeah.
McDonald's seems to be doing the same, especially with refranchising.
Refranchising. What's that?
Selling company-owned restaurants to franchisees.
Okay.
Lowers their costs, streamlines things.
So getting leaner, just like Burger King.
Exactly. And they're focusing more on their core menu items, too.
Smart. Back to basics.
Right. Sometimes that's all it takes.
What about Burger King then? What challenges are they facing now that they're back on top?
Well, one of the biggest is keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, it's got to be tough.
The landscape is always changing, new competitors popping up all the time.
True.
They got to keep innovating, keep surprising customers, stay ahead of the curve.
Sounds exhausting.
It is. And they have to be smart about how they grow internationally.
Oh, right. We talked about that.
Global tastes, they're different.
For sure.
What works in one country might not work in another.
Makes sense.
Got to be strategic, adaptable.
Speaking of international, what about those mixed results the report mentioned?
Oh, yeah.
What were some of the roadblocks they hit overseas?
Cultural perception, that's a big one.
Okay.
Some parts of the world, especially Europe,
Yeah.
fast food, it's seen as very American.
Right?
And that's not always a good thing.
Huh. Interesting.
People might think it's unhealthy or, too commercialized.
So it's not just translating the menu, it's understanding the whole culture.
It is, you got it. Sometimes you even got to change the menu itself.
Makes sense. You can't assume everyone wants a Big Mac and fries.
Nope, not at all. You got to be strategic, culturally sensitive.
Makes you think about all the factors that go into a company's success.
It does, doesn't it?
Whether it's these giants or a small business.
Yeah.
It's about knowing your customer, your competition, navigating the market.
Absolutely. Having a clear vision, a solid strategy, being able to adapt.
And maybe a little luck, too. Right?
Maybe. But I think the most important thing is passion.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're the CEO or the guy flipping burgers.
Right.
You gotta love what you do to really thrive in this business.
I agree. Passion is contagious. It makes the whole experience better.
And that's what keeps people coming back for more.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. From their origins to those surprising sales figures, their different strategies, the challenges, even going global.
It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. But there's one piece missing, the marketing wars.
Yes, the marketing.
Those jingles, those slogans, the mascots, it's all part of the story.
It brings the brands to life, connects with people.
Exactly.
Oh,
I bet there's some amazing stories behind those campaigns.
I'm sure.
Maybe that's for another deep dive.
Maybe. We've given our listener plenty to think about for now.
We have. But before we go, I have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
Knowing everything we've discussed today, which company's approach do you find more compelling? McDonald's with their global domination or Burger King with their agile comeback?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I know, right? They both have their strengths, their weaknesses, their challenges.
That's what makes this rivalry so interesting.
I'm going to have to think about that one. What about you, listener? Which one speaks to you more? Let us know.
And tell us if you've ever tried a Big King and a Big Mac side by side.
The ultimate taste test. We got one more part to this deep dive, so stick around. Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our McDonald's versus Burger King deep dive.
Thinking about all this, the global expansion, who's winning the burger wars and all that, it makes me think about the bigger picture,
Okay, what do you mean by bigger picture?
Well, these companies, these fast food giants,
Yeah.
they're more than just places to grab a bite.
Right.
They're symbols, almost,
Of what?
of American culture, globalization, how our tastes have changed.
Huh, interesting. How do you see them fitting into that?
Well, think about McDonald's.
Yeah.
Golden Arches, that standardized menu.
Yeah.
They became like the face of American fast food spreading around the world.
Yeah, you see them everywhere.
It was a whole era of convenience, efficiency.
Right, and they became a part of pop culture.
Totally.
Sometimes got criticized, but always had a huge impact.
Exactly. And then you've got Burger King.
Yeah.
Started similar, but then had to reinvent themselves.
Right.
Became more agile, focused on value, challenging the status quo.
Well, it's like they were reflecting what was happening in the culture, too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
People questioning mass production, wanting more personalized experiences.
Exactly. And their rivalry, it shows that tension between standardization and customization, global reach versus local tastes.
So what do you think? What does this all mean for the future of fast food?
Tough question.
Or even consumer culture in general,
Yeah, I mean, will we see more consolidation, a few mega brands ruling everything?
Right.
Or will smaller niche places start to take over?
Maybe a mix of both.
Toody.
Like the big companies have to get more adaptable.
Yeah.
Maybe partner with or buy those smaller brands to stay relevant.
I think that's very likely, and it'll be interesting to see how McDonald's and Burger King handle it.
Because at the end of the day, the real winner in this rivalry,
Right.
it's not about who sells more burgers.
No.
It's about who wins the hearts and minds and stomachs, I guess. of the consumers.
Absolutely, in a world that's constantly changing.
Right, right. So for our listener, I think the takeaway here is
Yeah.
pay attention to how these companies evolve.
Mm-hmm.
It might tell you something about the future, not just of fast food,
All right.
but of how all businesses need to change to survive.
That's true, because in a way, we're all trying to figure out how to serve our own customers better.
Right. Clients, colleagues, even our families.
It's all about understanding what people want.
And giving it to them in a way that makes them happy.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
From those humble beginnings to global domination, strategic comebacks, and some big picture thinking.
It's been a journey, but we want to hear from you, the listener.
Oh, yeah.
What surprised you the most in this deep dive?
What insights are you going to take away?
What are you going to use in your own life, your own work?
Share your thoughts, your questions, even your favorite McDonald's or Burger King memory.
Because that's what the deep dive is all about.
Exploring, learning, having a little fun.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those taste buds satisfied.
See you next time.